All right, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Hey, and the Dolphins are staying alive. As ugly as that one was for 15 minutes, the hopium continues.
Yeah, the hopium continues. I don't think they're alive at all. I think they're as dead as it gets. This is the game that kind of reminds you the one in New York will probably be a loss if you play like this, unfortunately. But, the thing that I still come away with, if you actually had the right team around the kid, Tua is not the problem for me. It's just not. If you had a power running team, which is what he needs, and you have a decent defense. And by the way, you let him throw to the tight end, like you finally figured out at the end of the game. You'll be fine, but the other stuff has got to be fixed. And that defense today, Jesus, wow, that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, against a Jets team that has been so inept on that side of the ball, a Jets team that was without Brees Hall. It's, one of two of its most potent weapons that they have on offense, and still Aaron Rodgers. I mean, had his way for a lot of this, and some of those drives out there on the field. What was it, 49 for one of them? That one was just. Demoralizing to the defense and the team, and I felt it was going definitely the wrong way at that point. Dolphins then at least did rebound later, getting a couple 3-and-outs that were key. Got the touchdown in the 2-point conversion, but then even then, with all that momentum, still didn't get the go-ahead score. And then the Jets, sure enough, had them on the ropes, and actually it was a lot of the Jets' misdoings at the end. Aaron Rodgers getting sacked, and then the play that goes out of bounds to Devontae Adams. Credit Kendall Fuller for forcing him out on that play. Saved 40 seconds just on that alone because the Dolphins were already without a timeout. So credit to him. And then also Malik Washington, big return, get into field goal range. Jason Sanders comes through, and then Tua wins it in overtime. More to your point that Tua, even with some things not exactly aligned perfectly for him, he still came through at the biggest moments.
Zero running game, dude. It's hard to win without a running game.
2.3 yards per attempt today.
Yeah, running games are such a gift to a quarterback. It makes life easy for any quarterback, young, veteran. I don't give a shit who you are. And when you don't run and you're not a threat, and that's where, again, it's like, bro, where's Jalen Wright? Come on, dude. Mostert wasn't playing today. Why is so much overuse of Achane? I get it. You're going to use him as a receiver too. Okay, but use Jalen Wright a little bit more at running back. I didn't understand that when he.
Yeah. I mean, he only had 2 carries. Jeff Wilson had one late, and it was just such a surprise to even hear his name and see him out there. More power running could have been to the Dolphins' benefit this game. You didn't see that. It almost feels like sort of like hard-headed, like they're just going to stick to their ways. And this game did not need to be as tight as it was, but very fortunate that this team did escape this one and keeps hope alive for another week out of these last 5, where it's basically must win every week.
Yeah, exactly. It is must win. I don't think that you're really going to get in anyway when it's all said and done. I think it's must win more to save jobs.
Yeah, there's that aspect. Yeah.
That's really what it's more about. I think your season's dead as it is. I don't think you're really going to get in when it's all said and done. You have no tiebreakers. You're way behind the 8 ball as it is. You need so many things to happen in front of you before you even have a chance. It's not just about you winning games. It's about a whole bunch of other things going on. To me, I think it's kind of horseshit, but it's really more about trying to save jobs from the front office to the coaching staff, scouts, because they're outside of the trainers and the media staff, they're the only 2 groups that are safe. If, Mike McDaniel has serious failure here down the stretch, I don't think anybody is safe at that point, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would stick to my point that I think they're committed to this core. So I know I say it every week, but
3 of the next 4 now, right? They have 4 left now, right?
They have 4 left.
Okay, so if they lose 2 or 3 of the next 4,
Then it's shaky. Yeah.
okay.
Well, two. Yeah, two. I mean, 3 out of 4 definitely it starts getting shaky. There's
Well, I had
hot seat talk. Yeah.
I was thinking either 2 or 3 out of the last 5. You won 1, so I got to stay with the 2 or 3 out of the last
Yeah.
4.
Which really, on paper, was the easiest one.
Right,
Jets at home. Yeah.
right. Jets at home. So if you lose 2 of the next 4, I don't know if everybody comes back now at that point.
Yeah. Well, then you're looking at it would be 8 and 9, and then I think they're just going to fall back on the argument of, well, we had two out for those 4 games. It was 1 and 3 there. That sends you 2 games down. You would have been 10 and 7 otherwise, and then also you lost the first 2 until it came back. So maybe if he was in a better rhythm, you would have had him. And I still go back to the IR placement where I think if you had him in the Indianapolis game, he wins that one. And then also I think second game back to a wins that Arizona game, even though it turned into a little bit of a shootout with the defense didn't play very well in that one. But I still think second game back to it with the way we saw him at Buffalo that next Sunday, I think he would have beaten Arizona even in a shootout.
Did we see the changing of the guard today? Will Patrick Paul be your starter the rest of the way?
Well, that depends on Teron Armstead, so that's still Armstead's job as long as he's available. But Patrick Paul, at least he played well enough. Mike McDaniel said that he didn't have to play call around him, so that's good. And then you did see him pave the way for the Devon Achane touchdown early on, so some good things there. I don't think there were too many breakdowns in pass protection. I mean, at least Tua didn't get sacked, and he was dropping back so much, 47 times in this game. So, we would have to look deeper into O-line, but Patrick Paul held up nicely there. So good performance to get thrown in there early in a game when, you think, well, you're only available as a backup and Armstead's up. He's playing as he's nursing that knee injury. But, and tough to see for Armstead. We saw sort of like that frustration towel over his head that the CBS cameras caught. So hopefully not too serious, but he felt like he could give it a go. And then he tried twice in this game and then I guess couldn't with that knee. So hopefully he gets right.
Well, the way I look at it, your season's toast already. Okay.
Yeah, because you're saying that already, but
I said that.
Right. I
Season
think
was
until it really is that they won't start looking at it that way.
after the Colts lost, the season was toast. We're already at this point now that you're not going anywhere. And what do you want to do? Play Patrick Paul next year without any playing time? Armstead's done. He's done. He's leaving. He's gone. He's history. He's in their archives. So if he wants to play a little, maybe you rotate him in and out a little bit. But if I'm them, I'm playing Patrick Paul more. I'll give you another example. Que pinta Raheem Mostert, bro? Que pinta? Nothing. It's time. He had the year of all years last year. He can tell his grandkids and his kids and everybody about what he had one year and scoring 20 touchdowns. Fantastic. He's not the future. Jalen Wright is. Today you had an opportunity for a 1-2 punch to start developing that, and that's what you should be doing for the rest of the way. Let's start giving Jalen Wright more carries. I mean, if you're going to commit to the constant screw up that is Julian Hill, well then, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to constantly commit, and the guy caught a ball today, so hey, congratulations. But if you're going to constantly commit to the constant screw up that is Julian Hill, well, why don't you commit to Jalen Wright and Patrick Paul now for the future?
Yeah. Well, the Dolphins wouldn't see it that way until they are eliminated. I don't think so. So until they're keeping hopes alive and this hopium runs and right now it's 2 games out with 4 weeks remaining. They're not looking at it that way.
That's them. How about you? Will you agree with me? You disagree? What would you do?
Until you're out, then you wouldn't transition into that. So for me, so I would do the same thing. Yeah, I'm playing Armstead. I'm trying to win.
So you're not playing Jalen Wright?
Huh? Well, I mean, I would get Jalen Wright more incorporated because I think it would help them win. I think it would help them win now anyway. So I would like to see Jalen Wright more incorporated to bring some balance with him, and then the speed and outside zone abilities of Achan on top of his passing abilities, make it more of a
Ask you
balance with
something.
the two.
Doesn't it help that Patrick Paul, if he's not a negative, isn't it better to develop the guy that is consistent at staying healthy right now? If Patrick Paul can stay healthy for you, Armstead can't, and he constantly puts you in flux. And so now you're putting a young guy in a position where he comes in cold and has to adjust. Why not let the old man come in every once in a while and let him just be part of the rotation a little bit, since he can adjust on the fly a lot easier for the old man. At this point, I'm saying for the rest of the games that are left, I would start Patrick Paul and use Armstead occasionally is what I would do.
Yeah, I think it's what level Armstead is able to play at, because earlier this season he was playing at a Pro Bowl level, like Pro Football Focus #1 rated tackle, stuff like that. I'd have to get an update on where he is now. I'd imagine he's dropped, because I know the Green Bay game was a little tough on him, and then obviously this one went out very quickly. So I believe if he's not hurting the team but playing through that knee, then go ahead and send him out, because you still have him at that caliber and a more reliable, consistent player than a rookie that you're trying to develop. But if he's ever hurting the team because he's trying to muscle through it and just can't do it, then then I would turn to Patrick Paul. But it could be a blessing in disguise if you can't go and send T-Stat out there. Then yes, you do get the benefit of developing a Patrick Paul with the live game reps.
Dude, I'm a big Javon Holland guy, and I'm starting to think that those 2 knee injuries from last year, that shit has lingered, and he's never been the same. He hasn't been the same player after those injuries. And I'm watching him, and wow, it's I think you maybe tag him next year. You certainly don't give him a contract.
You would want to tag him, but the tag would be a hefty price. I got to look it up, but it's
safeties aren't that big, but that's
yeah, right. I mean, relative to other positions, but still, it'd be a hefty price for him, especially what you've seen recently. So, I don't know. I'm not sure where I stand on him. I think I might let him walk and just go ahead and get your money.
I understand. I totally understand that.
With what we're saying.
I can't argue with you on that one. If you let him walk, that's cool. I get it. I probably would tag him just for a year, because maybe, he can kind of get back, because I love him, bro. I think he's a fantastic player, but man, he's not himself, dude. He's not himself.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, because I started covering the team when his rookie year, so my 4 years so far are aligned with his 4 years, and this is not what we had seen from him in the past, and I know those knees were an issue last year, and maybe there's something to that, but also just mentally it seems, and maybe it is a mental hurdle for him. But sometimes you're just seeing plays where there's a blocker, and then he's got an angle to the ball carrier. There was one that sticks in my mind specifically, and then maybe the touchdown run as well. But there was one occasion where he just went and engaged into the blocker, almost like, all right, this is now my excuse to not make the play because I got blocked. But he went into the blocker instead of trying to go and pursue the ball carrier and letting him go right by him. Where Jalen Ramsey had the outside and he was on the inside, could go to the ball carrier, and I forgot who was on that play. But point is, he just went and engaged into the blocker when the ball carrier was running to his side. So it was mind-boggling to me. But maybe there's a mental hurdle there. His play right now in a contract year is just not worthy of bringing back.
No, it's not. It's not, unfortunately. And I'm a big fan of his, but wow, I have to be objective about it. Listen, I'm glad they won today. I didn't think they were going to win down the stretch. It was looking pretty ugly. But you know what? As bad as the defense was, I'll give them a little love. Down the stretch, they got a couple of important stops that allowed the offense to get the points back to get back into the game. So as bad as the defense was, I got to give them a little love that they at least came up with a couple of key stops at the end.
Giving up 26 to the Jets is not where you want to be defensively. No. But I mentioned that 7:49 drive, third quarter. that took up a lot of it. That was rough to see, and it resulted in a field goal. But I mean, they had scored the first possession coming out of the half, and then you give up that long drive. But then credit to the defense, like you said, that after that fourth quarter, it was a back-to-back 3-and-outs. Now the next time they do give up the drive that sets up the go-ahead field goal, but also just situationally there were some Jets mishaps. Is they're already in field goal range. They are tackled for loss. Then Aaron Rodgers takes a sack, and then the throw that they complete to make it a better field goal attempt, they end up getting forced out of bounds. Good play by Kendall Fuller, situationally being aware and saving the Dolphins 40 seconds there, because without those, then you need that Malik Washington return, and then you basically got one play to maybe get into field goal range without a timeout. You can't even do it inbound. So
happy for Malik, bro, because he's had some rough moments this year as a rookie. You know, he had the muff last week, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, and I like him as a player. He can play, dude. He's got a little moxie to him, but he has had to fight through adversity. So that was really cool for him to get that return.
Yeah, and in the locker room in Green Bay, for a rookie, he had some really mature responses post-game there, just owning up to it. And sure, I mean, he has to be down on himself, but just carrying himself with somewhat still of a confidence, like he's going to correct that mistake and redeem himself. And then he did so in a big way his very next opportunity, very next game that he plays. In a clutch moment. So credit to him.
Tough kid, and that was a huge play to save the Dolphins. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I think I'm writing Jonnu Smith making the big plays late after he went without a reception in all of regulation. So big to see him come through there at the end. And then wrapping up coverage of this game, Tua's performance, and now the updated outlook going into the final 4 weeks of the season.
All right, follow him on Twitter at @DavidFurones_. And, of course, if you need lawyers you can count on, Bookend Tackles that know how to get it done. Maybe the Dolphins should sign them. Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Reach out to Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. The consultation is free. 954-966-4646.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.